All right. Well, we are humbled to be joined by Hiro Murai, the director of Widow's Bay and so many of our favorite shows, and we're going to get into all of them. Don't you worry. Hiro, introduce yourself to the camera.
Hi, I'm Hiro. How do I introduce myself?
However you
I'm a
want.
director and producer, and I'm very happy to be here.
Genius, tastemaker, whatever.
I want to start. We could cut this from the thing, but I just want to tell you that I worked at a TV studio called Whip for 2 years, and anytime I had to make a director list for any project, Hiro Murai, like I almost had you already in the grid before I even started the rest of the list. That is how badly I wanted you on our projects, which didn't materialize, but here we are now, so it's all good.
I felt the energy. That's the reason we're on this Zoom together right now.
I also wore my Widow's Bay best for you, So.
I didn't get the nautical fucking the notice. I just
like I didn't get it either, but I appreciate the hat tip.
So we are No Notes, and we always like to ask, what is a No Notes perfect movie? What would be your choice?
Okay. Two movies come to mind, and caveat for me, No Notes is like no frills, like this is no extra parts. This is like a super efficient, I wouldn't change a thing kind of movie.
Yep.
One would be No Country for Old Men, just the most like ruthlessly efficient movie ever made, I think. And then one that I saw again recently, and I was just like, "There's nothing to change here." Is Yi, Edward Yang's Yi.
One of our favorites.
Both of our favorites.
That's a great answer. Yeah,
the fact that movie, both are honestly like pretty long and still don't have notes is impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, Yi, and then I went to see it at the Vidiot's in LA, and it was like 3.5 hours. I was like preparing myself to just kind of like power through it, but there's no wasted minute in that movie. It's perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't drag at all. We want to know what's a No Notes perfect TV show or limited series, not counting the ones you've done.
I would give notes to everything we've done because we're just so in it. But this might sound obvious, especially coming off of Widow's Bay, but I think Twin Peaks is No Notes. I know it's sort of like the obvious answer, but to me that show is doing something so remarkable because it's like a piece of art, but it still functions perfectly as a TV show, which is like a really hard thing to balance, right? Like it honors what's fun and enjoyable about a weekly serial story. There's a murder mystery in it, there's an ensemble cast, there's like the town, but the tone and execution and like the feeling it's after is so specific and so weird that it feels like it shouldn't fit inside like entertainment container, but it does,
To think that was on like NBC in 1992 for the whole country to watch.
And a massive hit too.
Yeah.
We've been chasing that high ever since.
Or ABC, I don't know. Yeah. When do you remember first watching that show and what it made you feel? And obviously, I think, not obviously, but I think it's impacted your work. I wonder if you could speak on that.
Yeah, it's funny. I moved to the States when I was 9 in like 92. And I think that show came on like right around then. I think I was a couple years behind on it, but it was very confusing to watch that version of America as I was learning what America was,
Yeah.
The well was poisoned from the beginning.
Yeah. Or like I saw the warped like funhouse reflection as I was seeing the real thing at the same time, and so I don't think I really understood it as like, it's not really satire, but it's certainly like some kind of like depiction of America, right? Yeah. And so I remember it feeling strange, like it felt weird to watch.
It's something
but it's also
comfortable,
like
it's comforting, and it's off. And Widow's Bay honestly feels exactly like that. I'm scared
exactly
shitless, and I'm just like cozy. Yeah, so it's a great to feel both.
It's so weird.
We talked about it a lot. I mean, it's like I think part of what was appealing to me about Widow's Bay, and like obviously it's like hard to not talk about Twin Peaks when you're talking about shows that are set in small towns, but I hadn't seen a show that felt like a TV show in a long time. It's just like you don't really see shows about like mayors
Mm-hmm.
anymore,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then like the even just like workplace comedy of it, it just felt like it was like not shy about honoring the TV convention. And then the question becomes like, okay, that's fun and cozy and you want to be in that space. But once people are kind of comfortable in that space, what do you want to do with them?
How do we
You know,
fuck them up?
or just, give them a unique experience.
Oh yeah, that's what you're.
That's a good euphemism. Yeah.
He's a veteran. So from Atlanta to the Bear and now Widow's Bay, you just have the most immaculate taste, like we were talking about earlier. It's so uncanny, and I just kind of want to know what defines like a Hiro Murai project. What do you need to see on the page that draws you in or brings you on board from the beginning that like, okay, this is something I want to do. I can make something out of this.
I mean, I think I don't overthink it, honestly. I think I just try to stay open and sort of, because my taste and interests sort of change year to year. And, I'm kind of looking for things that kind of are like baseline interest to me, but also like, things that I want to learn more about, or a new location, or, part of town or community that I don't know much about. And so it's very kind of a fluid process. I think if there's one thing that's kind of like a prerequisite, I I don't want to know that it's gonna work when we start working on it. Like I think part of it is that you want to feel like you're doing something that's new, right? Or like something that hasn't been done before, and there isn't already like a mark for how to do it well. And so uh the feeling I've come to kind of chase is like, is this gonna be okay? Or like, is this gonna work?
That's crazy
But
because
if
I
it
think
does, it'll be-
fooled us.
I think the majority of directors probably chase the exact opposite feeling of like knowing it's a
hit.
slam dunk. Yeah. Well, that's why you're Hiro
Yeah, but I
Murai.
think, well, I think a lot of people are chasing that in a weird way, because it's like that excitement comes from,
Yeah.
like you're not building IKEA furniture. Like you don't want to know exactly what the outcome's going to be. You know what I mean?
But now you look backwards and people feel like all of it was so obvious, like after Atlanta, so many shows were copying what I think was, if there was even a formula, just like the feel of that show. And then it feels like it was like always meant to happen. But at the time, there was nothing like it.
I think that was like the great fortune and curse of starting TV with Atlanta, was like it was such a pure process. We really felt like, I had been working with Donald for a couple of years already, and the process would like kind of
This
magically
is Donald
pure. Like,
Glover for the people at home,
Yes, Donald Glover. We like, and like it was so low budget at the time that like effects kind of left us alone and let us do our own thing. So we just sort of built it from like a purely pure, like, what'd be cool kind of place, which you rarely get to do in TV.
Sena, I
And
think that's the
so-
foundation of our friendship, that show.
Oh, 100%. I think
Oh,
that's what we
really?
were talking about the most. When we met in college. I think
Yeah,
we were like
we would have been
bonding over
right
Atlanta
there.
as it was coming
Yeah.
out.
Like it was so like insular to a point that it felt weird when it came out. Like we worked on the first season and we're like, I guess it's gonna air on television now, and like maybe. But that
Who knows
feeling
what's
was
gonna
like
happen?
very valuable, Like I think that's such like a special gift to
Yeah.
have so early in a career,
We'll get
You guys
back
were in the
to
lab,
it.
man.
Yeah. Back to Widow's Bay. I'd love to know, two of your main collaborators, Matthew Rhys and Katie Dippold. What were your first meetings like with each of them, or maybe both of them together, to kind of get the tone and rhythm of the show right?
Yeah, I mean, Katie I'd met when she first sent me the script, and immediately I thought the script was like kind of remarkable. It's like it's so efficiently funny and like propulsive and fun, and like but it was also like already very tonally ambitious, like it was so clear that she loved jokes and she loved feeling scared, and it wasn't like, often with comedy horror, like the horror becomes ornamental, right? It's just like a cosplay that you wear as you tell jokes. And she wasn't interested in that. She like genuinely liked the feeling of like anticipating dread or horror, or, kind of like mounting anxiety was like exciting to her. but I also was like, I say this a lot whenever like people send me comedy scripts. Like I'm not a traditional comedy director, like I'm not a guy who can like riff a scene and like
Yeah,
give
you're
you
not
like different
dropping one-liners.
punchlines. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And so I was like, if you're like kind of needing this to be like that kind of rhythm of a comedy, like I don't know if I'm the right guy for this. And Katie was very quick to be like, no, I just want this to be like real. Like I want to treat all the ridiculous things hyper real and kind of like treat
yeah,
it matter of fact. And I was like, okay, I know how to do. And so we kind of like clicked in immediately, and we played with like horror comedy stuff in Atlanta, and it just felt like there was more to kind of explore there in mine. And then when we met Matthew, like this show could have been like 20 different versions of
Mm-hmm.
itself, including with cast. And we kept talking about comedic actors and comedians and just different versions that felt like a little bit like cheeky, and but also like when you hire dramatic actors, you just always risk not understanding what's funny,
yeah.
um and
Actorly ass actors, they
yeah,
get
exactly. And like
too much
comedic
in one
timing
direction.
is like it's either in you or not, you know what I mean? Like it's not something that you can really teach. And so when we started talking to Matthew, like I'd seen him in The Americans and Perry Mason, and he
Of course.
plays like stoic, kind of like emotionally, kind of like clogged up characters really well. But then when I met him, he was just like a total delight. He's so funny and like just kind of a goofball in person in like the loveliest way. And so like, yeah, I just like, oh, there's something about Matthew that we haven't seen as an audience, and like
He's
and
perfect.
he like yeah, and he like loves like silent comedy. He's like a Chaplin
Yeah, I
and
saw
Buster
like he
Keaton
drops
guy, and like
a picture frame on himself and gets stuck under
yeah,
the picture.
exactly. I was like, oh, you've been dying to do this, so it just felt like the right thing.
So in the first, in War on Widow's Bay, the first scene of Widow's Bay, literally the opening scene, and I'm back in 3 slaps from Atlanta. Like I was like this, I'm just there. I can say I think that there is just a tone and a feel that identifies something as like a Hiro Murai joint, for lack of a better term. Do you have a creative philosophy that you apply across projects? Because I can just, something about it, I would be like, this is one of my favorite episodes of TV, and then your name flashes at the end. I'm like, that's why. And I kind of like, all right, I get it.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, it's funny. We did because I worked on Widow's Bay with Christian Sprenger, who also shot Atlanta. Um, we have a lot of like shared trauma, production trauma, and like shooting the opening scene of Three
Scars.
Slaps
Yeah.
was like so rough because it was like an overnight on a lake. They tell you never to shoot on a boat or with animals. Like it was one of those like. And then like our camera operator was falling asleep, so like our crane kept like slowly dipping like into the
Oh my
water
God.
between shots. It was like a really rough night. And so when we came back, when we came to Widow's Bay and we were going to shoot all these boat scenes, we are like, we are not shooting on a real ocean. We are shooting all the interiors of the boat on stage, and then we're going to, take a drone out and we'll get some supplemental shots. It really informed the way we approached Widow's Bay, just because we had so much, collective trauma.
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD.
What is your favorite memory from shooting This Is America, the music video?
We shot that video while we were editing season 2 of Atlanta, so it was like pure chaos,
Okay.
and we're trying to meet deadlines and things, and music videos come together really fast, right? So I think that
It was
whole
like a
shoot came
2-day
together in
shoot,
like,
right?
yeah, it was 2 days shoot. We had maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks to prep it. Um, and like you see all these kind of vignettes in that video, like piece by piece, but when you're on set for that video, all those things are kind of in the room, like hanging out with you, so like
You're like, what the fuck is any of this?
between takes, I'm sitting on a chair with Donald, and then there's like a guy, like cops in like riot gear, and there's like a horse, and there's like a burning car, and like you know there are also things that we like got but didn't use, like we cut, like there was like a guy in like a Klansman costume, and I
It almost went
kept
all the way
like
there.
well, and then I looked down, I was like, that's too much, right? And he's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's too much. But there is a guy in a costume, like Klansman costume, sitting in the corner of this warehouse.
You know, we watch
Just hanging
Hollywood
out.
when there's like
Yeah,
Hollywood
exactly.
movies, and there you see a studio, and like people are walking by, and they're in animal costumes, and there's like an Abe Lincoln guy, and you know, it's like that, except
Exactly.
like the dark,
Exactly.
you know,
Except the
racially
collapse of the
intense
American
version.
political system.
But the thing is, like, you're so caught up in, like, you get caught up in, like, okay, we got to make this thing happen in the time that we have, and da da da. And once in a while, you'll kind of like step out of your body and just look at your surroundings and realize that you're in the weirdest situation that you
Totally.
fabricated, you know? And I think this is America,
Incredible.
like, very much.
And wait,
that
so
situation.
like Donald, like that's, I mean, I'm sure there were a few takes, but like, you know, it's cut as one, or maybe it is a single take, but like, did you know he was just like bringing something out of body for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the funny thing about Donald and I's collaboration is that we never like really talk about exactly what we're each gonna do. You know,
Mhm.
like we'll get excited about an idea or a concept or like a world, and like I know in the back of his head he's thinking about how he's gonna perform this thing, or he has like, you know, he has his own interest about his sort of execution and performance of it, and I have my sort of excitement about my own sort of, you know, camera moves or, you know, edit rhythm or whatever. And then it's always this thing where it kind of we just see it all kind of mesh together on camera as we're executing it, and it's like this magical thing. So I knew that, you know, the excitement of the thing was around this sort of like jarring changes in tone and the kind of like, you know, kind of contradiction in tone, right?
Right.
But I wasn't like I didn't know. To this day I can't really tell you what he's doing in that video. I just know that it's right.
And it
All
makes
of
you
us are
feel
still trying to
something.
figure it out.
Yeah, but
It does.
it affects you, and that's what matters, you know?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
many
yeah,
of the
yeah.
White Woman remake tribute videos did you see after This Is America came out?
I got sent maybe like 10, 11
They were
of
so
just
funny.
variations.
They were so funny.
You got to send me
That
this
was my
after,
favorite
Senna.
shit. Oh, Gabriel, you'll
We
love
were
it.
like, is this did we do it? Like, did we
you
do
jumped the
it
shark.
right?
Yeah, you
Like,
did do it right.
was this our desired outcome?
When white moms start emulating it for their own means, when you get like Columbus, yeah, you hit the main line 100%. So speaking of weirdness in This Is America, this is my first time encountering your work, but so Topanga from Boy Meets World, Abella Anderson, and
Mhm.
an orange grove in a mansion.
Mhm.
What the fuck were you guys thinking when you made Clapping for the Wrong Reasons? I was stunned as a
Yeah.
teenager. I was like, what is this?
We had no idea what it was. Like, that was the first thing Donald and I ever worked on, and you know, I met him, and like we were gonna do something for his album, and I thought it was gonna be a music video, and then like 3 months later, he just emailed me this like 1-page treatment for this film, and it was something about, you know, he was living in that house, you know, with his like buddies and his brother and all
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and like it didn't really make sense. There was no real like story, but it was kind of like a vibe. And I don't know. And at the very bottom, he's just like, and I want to shoot it on film. And I was like, okay. And so I don't know.
Intoxicating.
Good choice.
Yeah,
It
there's
was
something about it that felt like
It's
I was like,
intoxicating.
and I was like really into like slice of life, like Japanese dramas, and like, you know what I mean? Just
You
like
were reading
at the
shoujo?
time, yeah, I was like, you know, like I was like, just like, how do you make an Ozu movie
yeah.
inside of like, you know, inside of like a rapper's like mansion, you know what I mean? And so like,
Yeah.
it was like we didn't talk about it that much. We were just like, oh, this is cool. There's something in here. Like, I think I can bring something to it. And yeah, and it was just like a very loose process. Like every day they'd be like, oh, I think Chance the Rapper's going to show up. I was like, okay, cool.
And they're going to do a push-up competition. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And we would just like make vignettes, you know, we would just like riff vignettes. And you know, and that location had like a specific vibe too. It felt a little bit like liminal, spacey, like just
As hell.
kind of felt, yeah, it felt like really removed. And I don't know. It's funny. Some people like hate that movie just because it's like, what is it?
My
But
friends
it
were so
feels-
mad at me for making them sit through it. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't blame your friends, you know, but it does feel like kind of foundational thing for Atlanta too. Like
Yeah.
eventually
Yeah.
we ended up making a lot of
Direct
stuff in
line.
that zone. Yeah.
So you mentioned, when talking about Widow's Bay, that it's very scary and very funny in an organic way. So we want to know both sides of that. So first off, what's your favorite scare from Widow's Bay? And you can pretend this comes out when the show's finished, by the way. So
It's my favorite scare. I feel dumb talking about my own episode, but it's the one that pops into my brain fastest. I think the clown in the crawl space
Oh, yeah.
scene was one that
Dude,
felt like, oh,
fuck.
this is we're hitting the
Oh my
note
God.
right.
That
Like
was
it's
it.
it's like upsetting, but also kind of like strange and like I think my favorite moment in that sequence is when he does like a half lean into the crawl space and his like
Oh
tie
my
dips into
God.
frame, but you still don't see his face. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like it was the right kind of scary. It was like it was like off-putting, but it kind of made you giggle nervously. It just felt like a moment where like, okay, that's definitely part of the show. Like, that's part of what the show wants to be.
He was booking it into that crawl space, by the way. He was
Yeah,
moving
I mean,
quick.
originally he was on like a rig, like he was on a rig that like kind of shot him down the crawl space, and then Tim, who plays the William the Clown, he was just like, "Let me do it without the rig once," and he was like, "You're not going to be able to move that fast." And then we
Dog.
called action, and it was like a cockroach just like darting in the dark. It was so
Yeah.
scary. And so I think that's
Fucking
the shot that
terrifying.
ended up being in the show.
I was most
It's
upset
perfect.
because that's BJ from Righteous Gemstone, a beloved character.
That's
And now
correct. That's correct.
he's a freaky
He
clown.
was-
So
It was perfect, though. We want to know what your favorite joke was.
Favorite joke. Favorite joke. Hmm. It's episode 7. This is a small joke, but when Tom walks into the room with like undead Richard Warren,
This is mine too.
uh, and then when he flips over the notepad, it says, "My name is Patricia," because Patricia's just been in there, and then he flips the
are you
note
mad
again and
at
it
me?
says, "Are you mad at something I said?" Makes me laugh every time.
And Patricia comes
No,
into the room
mine's
accidentally too.
For the
Yeah,
purse.
yeah.
My favorite both is when he's like, I forgot something. I jumped out of my skin when he turns around.
Oh, I was just
Really,
watching
really funny.
Rosemary's presentation last night, and I was dying of laughter. She goes through the family
Yeah.
tree.
Did the season go where you thought it would go?
Fuck no.
Yes, and
Yeah.
more.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
so surprised. We're going to get to that. We'll wrap up soon. I promise.
So, with this Michael Jackson movie crushing the box office, we couldn't help but think of our dearly departed friend Teddy Perkins. And we just want to know everything about that episode because I think it is my favorite episode of TV ever. And what's the lore of it? Is it true Lakeith didn't know that was Donald in the prosthetics? Like, what can you tell us about Teddy Perkins? Maybe people don't know.
Yeah, I mean, shooting TV is like a marathon. You know what I mean? Like we were shooting that episode in the middle of like a 5-month run. So like it felt special even when we're doing it. It was like, oh, I don't know what this is. Like this feels like we're like reaching for something really crazy, but like it's sandwiched between like 30
Maybe,
days
right?
of shooting before and after,
And also like
it's crazy,
silly
yeah.
episodes like the barbershop, I think.
Incredibly silly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was also Halloween, I think, when we were shooting it. So
Yeah.
like all the cast and crew were dressed up kind of like silly, but we're shooting this like really dreary kind of
So dark.
Horrifying.
dark episode. And like Christian was wearing like an eggplant emoji hat, and I was wearing like Darius's like what
The
is
truck,
it?
the Confederate hat, or like
The Confederate hat flag with like
So funny.
rainbow wig underneath, and but we were also like really stressed because it was a lot to do in a very little time.
Were you having fun shooting that, or were you like, did any of the evil and freakiness of the episode come into you and vice versa? I'm just so curious about it. Because that is the most like best ambience and dread of anything I've ever seen.
It's kind of whiplashy, like that. Like I think if you've ever been inside like a colonial house in the South, like it feels kind of bad to be in there, like it's just they're just like the vibe is not good. And so like and so just being in that location for like 5 days, it already felt like off. And so we're just kind of like leaning into that energy as much as possible. And you're right, like we didn't tell anyone about Donald being in prosthetic and all that stuff. And for the longest time, like Keith kept coming up to me like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, where did you get him? And I kept going like, well, we got the real guy. Like, we got the real Teddy Perkins.
The real Teddy Perkins.
And then he'd be like, oh, okay. And then he would like, and eventually he like cornered like a PA and was like, who is that? And then he found out that it was Donald. And the funny part was like the next day Keith comes up to me and goes like, I'm really sad that I found out who he was, because it was so magical to be like, what's happening? Like it was like learning. Yeah, he was like, it's so sad now that I know. It's like all the magic is gone. But like for a brief period, he was like, does everybody know who Teddy Perkins is? And that's like the real version of him. Yeah.
That's the greatest thing.
It's incredible. I love that. That's awesome.
It was cool. It was very cool.
Let me get my shit together. Oh yeah. So there's this. I gotta talk to you. There's this insane trend where the projects that you work on, for some reason, your characters are always fucking trapped. Like Station 11, they're in Frank's apartment. Guava Island and Widow's Bay, trapped on an island.
Teddy
one
Perkins.
for socioeconomic reasons, the other one for another reason. Teddy Perkins. Is there something you need to unpack here with us? Can we do like a therapy corner? Like, is there something that you want to discuss, or you want to just kind of, the floor is yours, and we're here to listen.
I had therapy this morning, so I feel like pretty like open right now.
Unburdened.
No, I think, look, I don't know. Like, you just kind of like gravitate towards the thing you're gravitating towards, and then later on, you're like, someone watches it and goes like, "Oh, you have a fucked up relationship with this and that." I'm sure this is one of those things. I do think, like, especially in Atlanta, but like generally, we've ended up telling a lot of stories about people who are like not at peace with their environment, like people who feel kind of like displaced, or kind of like at arm's length from the world around them. I don't know why that's interesting to me, but I think Donald has that same interest, like, kind of being, the only black guy in a all white company, or like, the person who looks like who belongs, but he doesn't quite belong, like that. That sort of like internal discrepancy, I think, is something that we kind of keep getting drawn into, and it's just, I don't know, it's like it's also drama, you know what I mean? Like it
works.
It works. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, we hate to put you on the spot like this, but we love to play this game, and hopefully you're up for it. But we want to know, you mentioned your No Notes movie. Want to know the No Notes movies for the Widow's Bay characters, if you're ready to try a few out.
Yes, let's do it.
I don't know if they have like perfect, streaming on the island, or hopefully there's a library with a lot of VHS and DVDs.
Like VHS from the library kind of situation.
Yeah. But we'll try. So what do you think Tom's No Notes film is?
Tom, I'm going to say Jaws. Not only because we talked about Jaws a lot, but I think he's a guy who like, has like a very nostalgic idea of like heroism and like leadership and all that stuff. I think he thinks he's Brody, even though he's literally the mayor from Jaws.
Yeah, 100%.
So I say Jaws.
What about Patricia?
Patricia, I would say Steel Magnolias. Because I think she has like she wants a kind of network of women that she feels sort of connected with and supportive, but she doesn't. So I imagine she has kind of like a romantic notion of like female friendship. So I'll go with that.
Okay. How about Wick?
Wick is tough. I almost want to say he doesn't watch movies, but
I think that's a good answer. I don't think he does.
Okay, how about this? If he had to watch a movie, it would be... Do you remember the plot of High Noon?
The Gary Cooper
That
movie?
Western?
Yeah.
where it's like about a guy who's like trying to save a town
Right.
even though the town doesn't trust him, you know?
Right.
Okay, nice. On the
Yeah.
nose.
So that I think there's something there.
Yeah, about individualism and,
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, last one. What about Evan? My favorite little shit.
He's such a little shit.
Wouldn't it be fun if he was just like super into like Tarkovsky or something, like his favorite?
That would be awesome.
movie?
Yeah. He has that sensitive underbelly to him, though, like he plays in
Yeah,
that
he just
way.
like
I could
loves
see that.
slow cinema, like he's like a
Yeah,
like a mirror guy or something.
What's that awful friend of his probably showing him Cannibal Holocaust or something? The little blonde kid.
That's real. That's real.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's one scene in the season where Evan's watching a movie and it's like a horror movie.
Yeah, I looked it up.
But
it was like City of the Dead or something like that. I was curious about
it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Some Katie deep cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we kind of already did this, but we just want to be quick about it. But, you've directed some Hall of Fame TV episodes, and maybe you could give us like one sentence or a recollection about it. We talked about Teddy Perkins, but how about Alligator Man, which is a classic from Atlanta?
Alligator Man.
Super classic.
One of my favorite shots I've ever filmed, ever, is the shot of Cat running down the street to make his getaway at the very end of the episode. And
it's art.
The reason being, if you watch it now, you can't believe that this is a real person like running. Like it's not sped up. It's a real speed of like Cat running. Donald and I were looking at each other. He looked like a Looney Tunes character running away. Yeah. Like he's just like, he's doing this. He's like looking over his shoulder.
He's one of a kind.
And there's the sun setting in the background. It was like this like perfect Atlanta shot.
What song was playing? Because I know you played the Delphonics when the Alligator came out, but what was there something different?
It's the tail climax of the Delphonics song.
Okay, incredible.
Yeah, but that's a very vivid memory for me.
What about First Date from Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which we loved?
Man. That was such a crazy time because we were editing season 3 and 4 of Atlanta at the same time. And Jesus Christ. We finished editing season 3, and then I flew to New York and shot 2 episodes of Smith, and then came back, and then I finished season 4 of Atlanta. And so it's like kind of a blur for me, what we did around that time. What I do remember is just like, I was like, I never worked with Maya Erskine before, and I was a huge fan of Pen 15. So like getting able to play with Maya and Donald in this like, like he's huge sets for like a spy thriller after like, after shooting in like weird decrepit malls in Atlanta for 4 years was like I don't know, it was just like a completely different year, and it was really fun.
As a New Yorker, like I just love the on location shooting from that entire show. I thought it just captured the city really well.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
It's rarer than it should be.
Awesome excuse to go fuck around in Lake Como as well.
Yeah.
I know what this is.
Sena, you should ask the next one because it matters so much to me.
Yeah, of course. Station 11 is really one of my favorite shows. It's so close to me, my heart. Wheel of Fire from Station 11. What do you remember from that?
Mostly, I mean, I only remember the hard stuff. We shot in Chicago in January, right? Oof. And there were a couple of overnight shoots, and I didn't know it could get that cold. There was
Midwest.
A day. It's nuts. There's a day where we're shooting, the scene where Jeevan has a panic attack on the train and, stumbles out and Kirsten follows him out. It was like, God, negative, I don't know, something crazy, like 17 degrees. I can't even remember what it was, but it was freezing. And every one of my crew members were wearing like full on kind of winter coat that covered their head. And then we were also, it was like this, and everybody's wearing like the ski masks, so I couldn't tell any of my crew apart. So I had to kind of like kept turning people around and like, looking in there to like find the right guy. And it was very surreal. But also like, it's the same guys that I kind of dragged all the way through Atlanta, and so it just felt like, and Cuba too. It was just like felt like another chapter in me punishing my
you're like a the quarterback who needs to buy his linemen like Rolexes or something like that, you know.
Yeah, at the end of every game, at the end of every season.
That is kind of what it feels like sometimes.
Lastly, welcome to Widow's Bay from Widow's Bay. How about that shoot?
Man,
great pilot.
I gotta say that the opposite of summer in Cuba and winter in Chicago, this is like May in Massachusetts, and I never spent much time in Massachusetts, but it's like, what a lovely place and lovely time of year to be. We just like we're like eating ice cream and like lobster rolls and like sun tanning and it was beautiful. I mean, it was hard because all TV
for
shows
arguably
are hard,
the scariest, darkest of all of the projects.
yeah. We got there earlier in the year, like January, and it was like a frozen tundra, and I was like, we can't make a TV show here, but the weather opened up, and it was kind of like a lovely summer camp, honestly.
If someone's still on the fence about Widow's Bay, how would you pitch them on it? If
they shouldn't be, but if
they shouldn't be. We're banging the drum hard, but
honestly, I don't have a good pitch for it. I'm always just like, just try it. Just try it and see if you like it.
Just come have fun.
I always say when I try to before
Widow's
the show
Bay.
came out, people kept asking like, what is it? And I would always say, well, it's like a horror comedy, but it's like not what you're thinking. It's not bad, because like something about good horror comedy that just sounds, I don't know. You put it in like a box. Like it's very easy to imagine like the bad version. And so I think like what I've been telling people is just keep an open mind, and just like if you want to be surprised, you'll have a good time.
Okay, last thing for real. What the fuck is in the closed doors in the room, dude? We're gonna cut this. I need to know what is in there. I've been
dude, I can't go around telling people what's in the
You
box.
have an idea in your head, dude, don't you?
I have an idea what it is. I don't even know if it's the same thing that Katie has in her head. You know what? I'm gonna choose the cop out and say you're just gonna have to wait and see.
No, that's the right answer. How about this?
I sprinted back to episode 2 and was like, how many times did the bell fucking ring? I was like, how many times? It was awesome.
When are we getting our season 2 announcement?
I hope soon. I hope so too. Knock on wood.
I
think things are looking good. But well, I appreciate you guys watching it, man. It's really appreciate all the posts too.
Oh yeah, we love it.
We're all over it. It's been
well, this has been our chat with Hiro Murai. Hiro, thank you so much. This is like surreal.
Seriously, we appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Hopefully you realize just how deep we go with your shows and your stuff. Like it's it's no
really
joke.
Appreciate it, man. No, that's
no
huge.
joke.
I really, really appreciate it. Very, very humbling, honestly.
Yeah,
we're humbled.
Yeah, you're just on a crazy tear. Yeah, I'm very humbled. This is like been my dream to just pick your brain on some of this stuff. Like I even remember the fucking Hive music video growing up, and just being like, "What? Who's making this look like
what's
this?"
crazy? I'm like, Hive was like just in my head just like a couple of years ago, and like you were like a teenager watching it, right?
yeah, I was like 18,
so
19.
Crazy.
Like, holy
I mean,
shit,
it also makes sense. Like Earl was a teenager. Like Teve was 18 when I met him, and
we're all that generation.
We're all staying young together. And we haven't even talked about Barry, which is one of my favorite shows, Barry.
Oh yeah.
But we got to go.